Hey, I'm Ryan, and this is Get Your Mind Right. So, what I want to talk about is something that has happened to me, something that I have done to other people, something that we as human beings are constantly doing to each other, whether we know it or not, and that is testing. So, specifically, why do men test women in relationships? Why do men tend to ask you for things where they are going to have like a double standard towards you, right? Why are they like this? Well, to tell you the truth, it's really one of the smartest things that a man can honestly do. And I will admit, when I've had the test that I recognize at this age happen to me, I have been biased where I'm like, what kind of stuff is that, But that's what you have to do to protect yourself. So let's just get right into it. Why do men test women? So the one instance that happened with me with a man was that his test basically was to see, would I sit around and wait for him? Would I still see him knowing that I may require different standards? Could he break these standards that, even though I may not have said to him directly, but I may have showed him this is what I require, can I not go fully with it and she still sticks around? If I don't have to do what she required and she's still here, then why even do it? So I'll tell you the first test. So I was seeing this guy, and I would say like the first 3 weeks, the relationship was going really cool, right? Duh. And then it just kind of dropped a little bit. Not dropped steeply, but I noticed a twitch in the phone calls. So something that I kind of like with men is that if they call me at nighttime, if they talk to me at night, I like that. I think that's a good time to talk to someone, to try to get to know them. And I just feel very secure when a man talks to me on the phone at nighttime. That may be small to you, but that's a big thing to me. So this man, I think he kind of recognized that, because I that was the way of me getting to know him more, due to he was long distance. So, those night phone calls mattered to me. They were kind of needed in our relationship. So I feel like one night, he didn't call me, but he made sure he called like in the evening, like early evening, but it wasn't the nighttime. And that in that instance, my body intuition kicked in and I knew something wasn't right. But no, I didn't listen, right? So the next time I talked to him, I just automatically bring it up, because before that, it was like the first 3 weeks was going well, but I want to say like the next 3 to 4 days, it was like funniness. So that him missing that phone call was the bottom line for me, right? So I talked to him and I bring it up, and I'm like, not missing it as me calling him, but just him not contacting me. So I bring it up to him and I say, you seem like you've been changing a little bit. Do you think it's best if we stop seeing each other? And he was like, no, no, no. That's only like, this is what he really said to me. And this is how crazy that I was to stick around. He said, that's only the beginning. The beginning, of course you're like that. But over time, no, that wears off. And I was like, I understand that. Like, in the beginning, we're both on our first impressions, but damn, that fast? So you already want us to have like a relationship, like we already been in it for 5 to 10 years? And he was like, no. I was like, but so how does that make sense? The newness of it wears off in a month. And the newness is supposed to last for like 3 to 6 months. And so I said, damn, you can at least give me 3 months of fun. And he laughed. He was like, oh, Ryan. So, in that moment, I was really supposed to dump him. That wasn't the love of my life. I knew he wouldn't be no husband. Why did I stay? I can't even tell you. Maybe running away from some own problems or some stuff, because there was no purpose for me to stay if he couldn't even withhold for a month. Do it for a month. It was 3 weeks. 3 weeks is not a month. So in that moment, that was his test. That was his test to see if I had any respect for myself. Was I going to say, well, you know what? You can't even give me 3 months. I just said to you, could we at least have 3 months of fun? You cannot even give me that. So I'm going to Stop seeing you, and I wish you well. He could have said, no, 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 I'm going to, and I would have said, no, 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 because you already have it set. You just basically told me the newness is gone. I could be who I want to be now. I could be my true self. So you don't even have the spark for me no more. Nothing he could have said was supposed to fix that. He basically just said it and showed me. He didn't even have that new, just seeing somebody spark for me anymore. Ladies, if that's gone and it's still new, come on now. You got to use your brain. And don't think I didn't use it. I just didn't care for it. I guess my goal was to have a fun relationship, and I was going to do that by any means necessary. But look how stupid that is being a goal. I mean, I can't say it's stupid because, you know, sometimes you do just want to have a fun relationship, but I guess it already happened. It was just for 3 weeks and it was time to keep it going. But no, I sticked around. I think I stuck around for like 3 more weeks. So altogether, we seen each other for a month, 1 month, and 2 weeks after. And then I ended it because I said, "Okay, Ryan, it's no more fun to it. You know, he came. We went on a trip together, and that trip was the finale of, okay, there's no need to waste our time with each other. But if I had respect for myself, it would have happened. I wouldn't even have to go on that trip. It would have happened 3 weeks back when he said the comment to me. Right? Oh, and then 3 weeks after the comment was said to me, the calls dwindled. He didn't call that much, but I still was available. See, and within those, after them 3 weeks and the next 3 weeks, the next week, when he started acting funny, if I didn't leave at that 3-week part and I stayed for another week, during that week of funniness, that's when I was supposed to leave. I was supposed to say to myself, you know what, Ryan? It's a done deal. There's no need for you to wait this out no more. Just no. But I didn't. I wanted to wait it out for the trip. Do I regret that? To literally tell you, I always say I never have regrets because I say usually everything is a learning lesson. And, you know, if you feel like you want to leave a comment and say, you know, Ryan, you shouldn't have regrets, that should be a learning lesson to you. I'm going to be honest with you. I knew the lesson when it was happening. You see what I mean? I knew the lesson while it was happening. So for me, I can't say it was a learning lesson because I knew something was not cool in the midst of it happening towards me. I already knew. This is something I will be honest with you. I've sincerely always knew all my life. When somebody disrespects you and you genuinely feel disrespected, they most likely know that they disrespected you. Sometimes they don't. But when you confront the person and you could genuinely tell that they didn't know, okay, that's different. But when you confront the person, they know they did, and now they're looking at to see what you're going to do. You know, I don't know if it's dependent on certain things, but when you just really be like, okie doke, and don't stick up for yourself or don't check this person for X, Y, and Z, they don't respect you. You don't even respect you. Because you remember it. You remember it as you don't even respect yourself. And you know that you don't respect yourself. Okay, so for me, at that moment when he said his line about, you know, the newness is done, I knew I was disrespecting myself by staying. I knew that he looked at me as, I didn't know, okay, this is what I'll say. I didn't know that that was considered a test, but I knew it was a thing of, he is about to do what he want now because I didn't give him a stronger reaction. I didn't give him a reaction of I'm leaving. I didn't even attempt to leave. You know, I tried to compromise. Who compromises on something like that? You don't compromise on a man liking you. That don't make no sense. And I'm not even I can't even say desperate because obviously in that moment I was doing something desperate. The crazy thing about it is financially I'm fine. I've never felt like I was waiting on a dude to buy me. People who are close to me know I ain't never sat back and told myself what I can't have. That's not even my style. So for me, I can't put it on money. I can't put it on I wanted to be spoiled or some shit like that. I can't even do that. That was straight up, I want to say for me, it was codependency. It was just needing to even probably prove myself to myself, right? Because that does happen. So that was my one time of being tested that I actually sometimes look back on and I really say, damn, that was a hot mess. Now, a second time I was tested with a guy that I really remember loud and clear, where I say to myself, oh yeah, that was a messy test. Was I was seeing this guy and he canceled the date. He canceled the date maybe 3 hours prior. And he offered for me to come over instead. And so I hung up the phone with him. I told him I was busy. I'm going to let him know later on. And so I think I spent a good hour of like probably working at the same time, but thinking to myself, this isn't smart, Ryan. You should stop seeing him. Why would he cancel a date with you so soon? This was probably like 3 weeks in. Now, y'all probably saying, okay, Ryan, people could cancel. No, 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 no. When a man likes somebody, that boy is, he's moving shit out the way to come be with you. I know that for a fact. You've had it happen. I've had it happen. Okay, so I'm saying to myself, he playing games with me. He's testing me. If I go to his house, Ryan, he may try to do this again. But what? Desperate. Desperate. Had to be desperate. Right? I call him back and say, well, I'm hungry. What are we going to do? You know, we're supposed to go. He was like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm going to actually cook for you. And he did. He cooked and had some really nice wine. And that night, I had an okay time. Because in my mind, his reason of canceling was that his stomach hurt. He had to use the bathroom a lot. And I don't know, just for some reason at night, he wasn't using that bathroom a lot. He ate like it was no tomorrow. It just didn't feel real no more. And I said to myself, you know, you just open up the floodgates for him to treat you like crap now, Ryan, because you settled. You could at least accept him canceling and did come over. Come on now, have some class. But my body was yearning, not yearning for intercourse, but it was so desperate. It was so fiending to be up underneath somebody or something like that. And like I always tell people, you can have codependent tendencies or trait and be a very independent person. I'm a very independent person. Travel by myself. Go out to a club by myself, to a bar. I'm very independent. You can still have codependency traits. Okay? Pick up the book Codependency No More. Look on my YouTube channel for my codependency series. Right? You don't have to take it to heart when you don't have to go in a corner and be like, but you need to really realize what is driving you to do certain things that you know is stupid. Like how I was doing. Okay, so that was the test. And when I was there, like I said, he didn't really use the bathroom. The food was good, but I was tense. I felt very uncomfortable. I just felt like I was disrespecting myself. I didn't have intercourse with him or nothing. I felt very disrespected towards myself. And I went home, and I would say that we probably seen each other for like 2 months. And no, he didn't always try to keep me in the house or try to say he didn't want to take me out. He did still take me out on actual outing dates and things like that. Yet, I will say that the relationship changed. It changed because I felt like I disrespected myself, and because, you know, he probably just looked at it as she doesn't see herself as a priority. She doesn't see her needs as a priority. And I would say that he was more quicker to not, I would say this, even though we still went on out dates outside the house, I would say he was more quicker to want to stay in than go out. You know what I mean? That's what it was. All right, so another time I was tested, and it's a test that when you hear, you're going to say, oh, that's a funny test. What I've said, what she said. So a guy I was seeing contacted me one night, right? It was probably like 11 o'clock. It wasn't like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And he contacted me. I don't know why I answered either. Because it was a Friday, Saturday night thing, right? And I answered the phone. Oh, and I think it was like a weekend because the next day I had to open up my massage business. So it was a Friday night, he contacted me. This grown man literally told me this. And see how I said this grown man? So this is probably why it's a test. It was a good test, I would say. So this grown man set up there. This grown man sat up there and called my phone and told me that he had did some E and that he slightly don't know how to get home. And so my foolish butt sat on the phone with him for about 15 minutes and offered for him to get picked up in an Uber to go home. Not to come to my house, but to go home. And he was like, you don't want to come pick me up? And I was like, no, I can't do that, but I'll get you an Uber. And then he eventually realized that I wasn't going to pick him up, but pay for the Uber. And he was like, nah, I'm just joking. I wasn't really, that's not what really happened. That's not what's really going on. And in that moment, I looked at the phone and I was like, oh, this was like some weird test to see when I even sit on the phone talking to somebody while they're telling me they're having this type of episode and they're in their 30s. Your 20s is semi-understandable, but 30s, this ain't my husband. This ain't my boyfriend. This is just a guy who I've been dating for like a month or two. And when I kind of realized that on the phone when he said that comment, I said, so to him, he's probably thinking like, I will let men come in and out my life if they call me while they drunk. Even if they're not coming to my house, but just by me even willing to help you. You know, I don't even think Mother Teresa would even help somebody in a situation like that. Especially with them calling you, because it's like you could have called an Uber and just got home and been safe. That may really seem like, you know, I think you're supposed to do that for your female friend and, you know, maybe a guy friend, but I can't even see me doing that to a female friend. I would just say call an Uber for me. Like, if you know, you may be drunk enough where you really can't function. But I feel like it's been times where I've been drunk and I really just called the Uber home. I probably called my sister once I got home like, oh my God, I just had this night, da-da-da-da. But I've never been drunk enough where I didn't call. If I did, I'd rather call Uber first than a close friend. It's not so much of the close friend not gonna come, but it's like, if they can't get up, they would most likely send an Uber. So that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, that was a test. And me and him did not last long. Not even after, I think after the phone call, I remember that. Because I said, I'm not talking to him no more. And I was mad at him because I was like, well, why would he not understand that? Because mind you, he didn't say nothing to me like, oh, you failed. He just said, oh no, I don't really need no help. I didn't really need that. I didn't really need that. Did he say I was testing? I don't think he said I was testing you. But it was just that when he switched, I just automatically knew that this was a test. And I didn't pass it. And I don't give a damn that much, but I give a damn enough to really say to myself, I need to change. I need to have more self-respect for myself to even want to associate with a man that will call me to say that. If he's calling me to say, I'm so far gone off this E, can you give me a ride home? And not have enough sense to be, and mind you, you just met me. Why would you not call your friends first? Why would I be willing, right? Remember, why would I be willing to sit on the phone hearing that? Mind you, we just met. It's only been a month. So this is where I'm asking myself this, not as he talking, but to explain to you guys how this is not even cute on my end. Okay, he's on the phone talking about he's too high off of E and he need a ride. You only know this man for a month. Why would he want to be that comfortable with embarrassing himself like that? Why would he feel like he want to get in a car with you if he's so far gone? What if he try to hit you or just get so frustrated, just God knows what? You see how you got to start thinking? You see why that's a good test to use? And it's kind of like, well, if she did it for me in a month, what would she do for an ex? Now are you getting it? Now, although I wouldn't done that for an ex, because I am the type, once you're an ex, you're gone. But he doesn't know that. What are some ways that we as, here's another way, another example of just a human test, right? I have a friend, her spouse, he does personal training. So she offered us free personal training. Kid you not, I was late to every session. I think about 4 sessions, I was about 10 to 15 minutes late. The sessions only last 30 minutes. So what the fuck is that? So one day we was walking and she said something to me, but she didn't come out directly say it. She didn't come out and say, why are you always late? She said something where it dawned in my head of like, I need to stop being late like that. That's not cool. So I really started being on time. Why was I always late? God honest truth, I just did not care to get up on time. Did I have a superiority feeling like, oh, they could wait? Honestly, no, I didn't. I honestly didn't feel that way. But when I sat back and really thought about it, and I said to myself, I was really testing her. And if they never would have told me that, I would have continued to do that. Which I'm so happy she said something, because she probably would have freaking just eventually dropped me as a person. You know, this bitch is wasting me and my husband time coming late. What's wrong with her? That's disrespectful. But when I really sat back and examined myself, I'm like, damn, I was really testing them. And I'm like, so what? What was I doing subconsciously? What was I thinking in the back? Was I thinking like, well, they asked me to do it so I could come when I please? I don't know what was I thinking. But something was going on back there subconsciously. Well, I guess I was thinking, I'm going to come when I come, but long as I come. I don't know. But I wasn't thinking I'm better than them and I'm doing them a favor. No. I knew he was doing me a favor, but I just genuinely wasn't appreciative about it. And when she said that comment, I really had to check myself, and I came on time. That's a way of test. You're getting what I'm saying? I was testing them and not even realizing that. If she didn't put me in my place, I even told her, I said, you know, I'm always on time with you now. She was like, I get to places before she do, because it woke me up of just like, oh, I'm really testing her. So we all do tests with each other and don't realize it. Sometimes we test people in ways we don't even realize we're doing by keep nicking at them or keep asking them to do a favor or something like that. Something until they finally say, stop asking me to do that. I've done it for you 10 times. I'm annoyed. You haven't learned how to do it yourself. So why do men test women? Because they're trying to protect themselves. And this is not me having speaking up for these freaks. No, because you already know. But I can't blame them for doing that. Something that I wasn't doing all the time. Now, I did have tests with men, and my tests with men would be not so much of how they speak about their ex-girlfriend, but just how much room she had. How much room she had in his life still. How much room his female friends had in his life. Because I personally felt like, certain things, he might be too open season for me with too many women. Where, you know what, it's not going to be cool for it at the end. I've tested men with, and mind you, I didn't really know they were, I knew they were tests, but I wouldn't think out loud, let me do this test, right? But because men do it, and it's kind of like you say to yourself, I feel like he's testing me. It feels like it's different from what you're doing. Like if he sits up there and he gives you money too early, what does that test to you mean? Do you feel like he a simp? He's going to give every girl money that he don't know? Because I personally don't want a dude that's going to give money away like that. But what happen if he like you so much? He's like, girl, I want to give it to you now. Do you really always think that? Or do you think he for everybody? I've met men when they go down, they say, oh, I don't do this too often. I don't even really be doing this. Okay, you saying that comment, you lying. You lie about something like that, what else you gonna lie about? And he could be telling me the truth, but I'm not gonna believe it. Because your actions ain't matching up and you just met me. I'm not your girlfriend of this many odd years. So we are we are all constantly testing each other. Just like how some women say, I need a man that's gonna check me. How you gonna find that out? Until you test him and see if he gonna say don't do that again, or if he don't trip off me and you like, girl, I keep doing X, Y, and Z. He still's not reacting. That's you testing. Why do when men test it seems very different compared to women? Because I think their test is where they are involved with it too. So it's kind of like, well, he did it. So say for instance the intercourse thing, having intercourse too early, right? Y'all did it the first night. After that, I mean, y'all did it within a month, but y'all not boyfriend and girlfriend. Y'all not in nothing. Y'all didn't have a talk with each other about being exclusive, right? So now you feel like you're feeling like, okay, he's acting weird now. He don't do X, Y, and Z. He like, well, shoot. I mean, I was seeing her earlier as being my wife, but I mean, I was able to do X, Y, and Z with her to not without having to lock it down, without having me be serious or committed with to her or be exclusive. I mean, I'm not gonna make her my wife. I'm not gonna make her my serious girlfriend. Cause she can't even have her standards in place. One moment she said earlier she don't have intercourse unless she in a serious exclusive relationship, and now I got her back, and I never told her that she was the only one. So you see how in his mind he like, I don't want to be. She can't even keep her word. You see how it's starting to make sense? Even you as a woman should have like little tests with men. And it don't even have to always be around money. It can just be around emotional stuff. So why do men test women? I hate to say it, to protect themselves. They have their own little standards in place. They remember I told you already, men legitimately think that women are morally higher than them. So of course he gonna mosey in trying to test you. You know, he may say, oh, let's do oral. But you tell him you don't want to have intercourse until you marry. You think oral and intercourse are different enough where he gonna be like, oh man, she's not gonna let me hit that, but she gave me that instead. He looking like, well, damn, I would have respect her more if she would have flipped the rule and said that one is for that day and then this one is for this day. But to him, it's like if she can't keep her standards off of me asking one time, two times, or three times, then what's going to happen when another man come around with more money in his pocket? Or not even just another man, but just what's going to happen if I want to bring another woman in the bedroom? She just going to be like, yeah. You know, it's like something, no matter what type of book I read, if it's based around humans, it always mentions how humans like structure and discipline. And it's like, even myself as a woman, I don't want a man. It's not like I'm saying I need for him to tell me right or wrong. But, you know, I would want a man to have his standard of saying, you can't come to my house at 1 o'clock in the morning, right? If you're going to go out with your friends, go out with your friends and I'll see you in the morning for brunch. But don't think you can mosey yourself in or you should come to my house by 12. Now, if I come in at 1 and he let me in, I promise you I would do that often. And there's been men who told me that, and I would try them, and they will open up that door. Only one man denied me. And I knew ever since then, if I was going to come out and be outside running the streets, I better be at his house at a specific time. So even I've tested people in ways where you probably ain't thinking a woman would test a man. Just like some women like to call men out their name. That's a test. Either he gonna be like, don't you ever in your life disrespect me like that? Or he gonna argue with her back. But him arguing with her back, that's not solving it. But you checking somebody and saying no or walking away, that's what lets somebody know the test is that. That's what letting somebody know you passed the test. Even if it is you walking away, you passed the test by respecting yourself. So take that lesson, take it as a lesson learned from a man. If you could look back and say, oh my God, was he really testing me? Take that as a lesson learned. Admire him for doing it, because I would never forget that somebody called me to tell me that they was having They was feeling uncomfortable because they took an e-pill. That was a good test to really test my boundaries. And I only knew this person for a month. That I was willing to pay for them to have an Uber to go home. And even if they wasn't coming to my house, I've only known you for a month. You not my man. That's a sign that you don't know how to control yourself when you outside doing what you do. And for you to be that comfortable, that loosely with yourself that you would call my phone and ask me for that type of assistance, that's crazy. Where's your self-pride? Right? But see, that was a good test. Oh, I would never forget that because that was a really good test. So respect yourself. Understand that that man is trying to protect his raggedy self, and you need to take heed too and start learning how to protect yourself too, so you do not be getting, you don't play yourself. You don't realize 2 years later down the line, God damn it, if I would have tested him, I would have known his dumb ass gonna react like that. Now he's acting like this and I'm 2 years in and I don't want to walk away. But if you would have tested him already, right, you would have seen. Anyway, have a good, marvelous night. Be aware of the tests that men run and learn from them. Develop your own tests that help you get the relationship that you desire to have.